right. Good afternoon, adventurers. It's Friday, and thus it is time for John's Dungeon Corner. All right. So here we are in Altamont Springs, Florida at the Collective, one of my favorite hangouts. And we are going to talk about all things Dungeons and Dragons, but a couple things in particular. We are going to talk about what we kind of started last week about the new starter set and all the neat things coming out. Hey, it's Friday, Sarah. Welcome to the show. Yes. We're going to talk about how this all gets together. Someone saw a show and said, I had talked, and I understand where they're coming from. I had talked about what the kits look like and how they can all go together, but I had them out here, but I didn't open them up because I didn't have the open version. So I've decided to bring mine today. So we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit. But as always, let me tell you, look at this. Okay, so I think I had shown you this. I don't have room on my table here to show you, but remember this, the gargantuan red dragon, right? So here it is. That's the box for it. Okay. Now, we also have what you see in front of you there is the primed, the ready to paint gargantuan red dragon. And this one you can paint. I'm not going to pick him up because he comes in 3 pieces. So he has a wing, he has the tail. You know, once you get them together and on the table, I really don't want to move them around. But let me tell you something. That is simply gorgeous. Jason, what's up? Woo, woo. Good to see you, Jason. Welcome to the show. We're talking about the gargantuan red dragon, the primed. So you can really go to it if you really want to take that paint and brush out there and paint your own dragon, you know, because, hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. That's why they come this way. So you got the pre-painted one, and then now we have the primed one. Oh, my gosh, it looks so cool. I want to bring it up to the camera. You know what? Let me see if I instead can bring the camera to it. How's that? Ha! How about we do this? Look at this guy, huh? Look at this guy. Oh, this is cool. This is much more cool. Check out that. Check him out. Oh, look at that, huh? Look at that. Look at this wingspan, huh? All right. Now I'm going to put you back over here. Let's see if I can get it back in its right place. That looks about right. Oh, we need to lower it just a little bit, maybe. Just a little bit. To get everything back in it. All right. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. That'll work. Anyway, so I wanted to give it close. I really don't want to move it around a lot, but it looks awesome. Oh, my gosh. I love that stuff. That is an amazing dragon. It make a great gift. So, and remember, you know how I was talking about the map boards and how cool they are? So, these just got back in. I think one of these may be new, but this is the theater. So, on one side, you've got the actual theater with the seating and everything's in squares, right? We still got the one in squares. And on the back side, it's just an empty board. It's really nice. If you ever want to do something indoors, like a tavern or whatever, this bottom part where it flips to is really nice to have. And once again, it's a 24-inch by 30-inch mat. Really nice. And then we got the museum. Okay? Which is really neat. Because if you want to give a town something, some aristocracy, somewhere with the aristocracy, we might go meet with a baron or a baron's representative or a guild member, a high-ranking guild member. These would be the kind of places that they can meet at instead of always meeting at the tavern. You know, sure, you find out about things at the tavern, right? But let's say that this is kind of like one of those moments where it's, hey, we got to be careful. We have to meet somewhere indiscreetly, somewhere out in public, however you want to look at it. And they meet. Hey, Willie Blanco from New York. What's up? Welcome to the show. We got the white dragon we were talking about. And just talking about the museum and we're talking about the museum and the theater. So let's say they want to meet the baron's representative instead of meeting at the tavern, though, because, you know, he doesn't want to be seen there. Let's meet at the theater. Let's go to the museum and talk about the different art that's there, or statues, the sculptures and that. But we can also talk about what it is you need me to do for you. So this leads to a lot of cool role-playing scenarios that would be different than the norm. I mean, of course, the tavern is always my favorite, and the Adventurers Guild operates out of there. But I have the mansion one. Hey, DC! Hello. DC, come on out here and say hi to everybody. DC popped in today. He's actually off for one. Say hi to everybody out there. Everybody. There's DC, one of our players in the Sunday campaign and the Wednesday campaign. He plays that Tempest, the Tempest Dwarven Cleric. And I'm gonna tell you about that real quick, actually, since you're here. So this Antonio runs this really. Hey, the Sarah saying hi. So hey, this last Wednesday we were playing in the Wednesday campaign with Antonio, and we were in a volcano, and we come to this hallway, and we're going back in after resting. We rested for 8 hours. We needed to, and so we're all searching for secret doors and concealed doors and stuff, and we find 3 of them. All right, so what happens? Everybody checks their doors. Okay, traps, no traps, whatever. And the first group decides, well, we're going to go down our door. And I'm like, rule number 1 is never split the party. Okay. Yeah. Then another group wants to continue down the main hall. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess, all right. And then another group wants to go down there. And I'm like, wow, there's like only a few of us left. And I'm like, aha, I have an idea. Originally, I was going to go with one of the bigger groups. So I'm like, okay, well, if everybody's splitting, maybe this set up to where we were supposed to do this. You know, you start thinking as a player and you go, okay, what am my character doing? And I looked over and I have one of the players who's playing, Don, who's playing a fighting rogue, really good, 9th level rogue. And I have DC who's playing a Tempest cleric. So we have healing and we have a fighter, a martial type, a martial rogue with great skills. And of course, I'm playing a bard warlock. So I'm like, you know what? The 3 of us are going to go down this hallway. And we did. And she found all the traps. And the cool thing was her character had 3 potions of invisibility. Yeah. She goes, hey, let's drink these and become invisible. So I'm like, well, wow, that gives us a great advantage. All right, so let's do it. So we drink the potions. We're invisible. We're going down. We're kind of like, you know, in a row with each other. And she's finding the traps and marking them so we miss them. It was so cool.
Oh, and you reminded me about the guidance.
Oh, and then guidance. Now, sis, listen. Clerical guidance cantrip is amazing when you're at rogue. Is looking for traps, trying to unlock doors, trying to look for hidden clue. It's a wonderful thing to help characters, and not just the rogue, but in this instance, it was the rogue, and it was a lot of fun. We had a really good time, and I ended up we didn't even fight anything. It was basically the setup for the next part of the adventure. So it was a lot of fun. We had a really good time. Antonio's campaign is a lot of fun. If you've never played in something like that, it is like a never-ending dungeon. It's interdimensional. A very powerful wizard controls it, and it's like he tests you, and the tests get harder. And sometimes you just got to think things through. Like this last thing, we just started a battle. I think they'd wipe this out. It was a fallen angel whose halo is missing, and that's the whole thing. Is we're going to go and find it. She had 2 angels with her. So you can just imagine what that fight would have been like. That would have been a no-win.
Crazy.
Oh, man. So I'm glad we didn't do that.
That would be crazy.
Hey, so it was good seeing you.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate you.
All right, everybody. Bye. Have a good one.
And so now we're going to talk about the starter sets. I might call you back in here. But so the starter set. So remember I talked about the newest starter set that came out, right? The one, the Dragons of Stormwreck Isle, sits off the west coast of the Sword Coast. Well, that's what it's called, the Sword Coast. Hey, bud, how are you? Antonio's on. Hey, I just had DC come back in and say, hey, hello, Antonio. This show's so crazy, right?
What's going on,
you just
Antonio?
bring people in, send them back out, bring them back in, send them back out. Okay, you can go again.
All right, I'll see you later, bro.
All right, brother. You like that? That's great, right? Now, this is the kind of show you want to have, a fun show. So, okay, so I'm going to come around here now. Okay, so the original starter set came out. It was just a D&D starter set. It was along the Sword Coast in a place called Fendelver. And you got this book. Okay, now you got the book. Oh, and by the way, I wanted to shout out to my friends over at Lake Brentley. They have a Dungeons and Dragons club out there, and they came by and picked up a starter and an essentials kit for their D&D club. They have quite a few kids there, so that's really neat. If you're looking to start a D&D club somewhere, a high school, college, a club, come by, talk to Brendan. He's really, really good with supporting that kind of thing. Come on by. And if you have questions, of course, johnsdc2021@gmail.com. Okay, so here we go. The Lost Mine of Fendelver is the adventure, and you have the starter set rule book, which is really nice. It goes through adventuring, spellcasting, combat, how to play the game, and it has, spells and that kind of thing. It explains things for you. It's really nice to get this first if you're first starting out, either as a game master or a player, because it takes you step by step into what everything means. Rolling for initiative, combat, movement, spell casting, using your skills, good stuff like that, right? And of course, as always, as I've always said, there's always cool artwork, right? Artwork. I love the artwork. I mean, it's not just one here, one there. Look at that one. So this part here I'm looking at is about adventuring, which is really neat, okay? And then, spellcasting, of course. Haha. And of course, you got your magical items and that kind of stuff back here, and your monsters and all that good stuff. Now, this is the actual adventure, okay? So this is for the game master, the dungeon master, all right? So they'll go through here, and this kind of talks about the adventure. It has a nice little map of Fendelver and the whole Sword Coast. There's a Sword Coast as I speak. It runs from Neverwinter, Baldur's Gate, Neverwinter, into Fendelver down here. And you have the Candlekeep, and all that cool stuff here. All right, so, and of course, other than the map, there's a nice town of Fendelver itself. But here's the cool part. I'm showing you those maps on purpose. Okay, here's the area surround. Here's the big aerial of Fendalen. And then later on, of course, I showed you. But anyway, so that's other stuff. I'm not going to show you that. But there's a lot of art in here. And of course, there's magical items and that kind of stuff in here. So, and with that said, it's really nice because you get pre-generated characters. You get a fighter, a wizard, the rogue, the typical party, a cleric, and a second fighter. Now, so you could have had a different, but they put 2 fighters in here. One's an archer, one's a melee, a wizard, the rogue, and the cleric. All right. They're pre-generated. On the back, it explains things. This was a dwarven cleric. It tells what a cleric does, his background, gaining levels, and all your abilities and that kind of thing. So it's really nice. Great for a starting group. Okay, so, hey, there's my love. Hello, my love. She made it to the show. That's awesome. Okay, so then we talked about the Essentials Kit. And I put this in the middle for a purpose because it really does start the 2. I have my back to you. Sorry about that. But this way I can talk and kind of show you what I'm talking about. This is the Essentials Kit. This was a little heftier in what it has in it. Okay? So the starter set, as I showed before, the original starter set has the pre-printed character sheets, has the rule book, it has the adventure. That's this one here. Okay. Now, you can play that one, and that's cool stuff. Then came the Essentials Kit. And by the way, I don't have them in there anymore, but that does have a set of dice that comes with it. And so does this one, but I've given those away, so I don't have them anymore. Now, this set comes with a lot more stuff in it. Oh my gosh, it comes with a lot more stuff. Let me kind of throw this back here. Gotta have a bigger workspace, maybe. So this one has the Essentials Kit rulebook, which kind of expounds a little bit more and puts everything in perspective. So this is an entire rulebook. And of course, yes, as always, it has artwork in it. As you can see. And there's some cool black and white artwork. And of course, the color artwork that I like so much. Creating a character. Now, in this one, you can create your own characters. It shows you how. I hear there were some creative antics employed in Wednesday night's game, The Collector, to get the halfway across the gorge. Ah, yes. We played. I say we because I was part of the party, but it wasn't me. Actually, Jason, you're still on here. It was the barbarian that played Punt the Halfling in midair. Oh, boy. One of these days, maybe Jason will come in and explain what actually happened. It was great. And then afterwards, there was a domino effect. So it was really awesome. Uh, so this is the essentials kit. All right, it talks about the rules. Then you get the adventure Dragon of Icefire Peak, which I think is a real. And remember that name, Icefire's Peak, Dragon of. All right, and this is the adventure. You know, it has maps in it, and of course, it has full colors, cool stuff, always, right? And you got maps, and it's Fendalen again. One more stuff in here, but I can't show you that because that's part of the adventure. And just say it's full color. Then you get these neat cards, and as you can notice, no, I have not punched them out. Like the mystery key and necklaces, and it shows you the different statuses that you can have. And the cards all go in this neat little box, and as you can tell, I've not used the box. But here's what is cool. Blank character sheets. So you create your own characters if you want to, right? Which is really neat. You get a full color. You get the full color Dungeon Master screen. It looks really nice, right? It's like a continuing adventure there. All right, with the dragon there, and then the adventures. And on the inside is a bunch of information that you can use as a game master, which is necessary as a game master. High jumps, long jumps, actions in combat. It explains them here. You know, and then over here you got the conditions like being petrified or stunned. And then over here there's a bunch of neat stuff. I'm gonna have to put my glasses on. You know, the writing gets a little smaller, and after you've been dungeon mastering for a while, reading all those scrolls in the dim light, things happen. So good thing they invented these things called reading glasses. But you've got setting DCs on how to set a DC, which is the difficulty number that people have to hit. So if something's easy, it's a 10. If it's very hard, it's a 25. And everything above and below. Tracking DCs, quick prices for food if you want to do this little in, skills associated with abilities. So there's a lot of stuff. So how far can you travel in a day? Okay, well, here's the travel pace. Fast. Minute, hour, days. Effect, normal and slow. What obscured areas do. What cover will do, light, encounter distances. So very nice this is. A lot of information in this little screen here. All right. The coolest thing of all of that to me, though, okay, the coolest thing of all of this to me has always been this wonderful map you get in here. So, and I've shown this before, but now I'm putting it all together for the people who only saw me do the first box. And this way it's all together. So this is a map of the Sword Coast, right? So there it is. And like I said, up here is Baldur's Gate. Then you got Neverwinter. Then you got Lelong and Candlekeep, the Mirror of the Dead Men, Fendalen, Icefire's Peak. A lot of places that you've probably, if you've read the book, the Crags, Neverwinter Wood. Look how huge that wood is. Gorgeous. Beautiful map. But here's the fun part. When you flip it over and you get the Fendalen, there it is. It's a full color map of the entire town of Fendalen. You know, the Town Master's Hall, Harbin. And in the booklet, it tells you what all these buildings are. But it's really neat to have this for the players to look at and go, wow, that is really neat. And it's full color. It shows you north, south, east, and west. It gives you a little scale here in feet. Now that one's in feet, while this one here is in miles. So each one of these hexagons, each one of those is 5 miles, I believe. There goes the compass. Where's my scale? 1 hex equals 5 miles. So really nice. All right. That's a really good map. Now, the third one, which is what started this whole thing, what got me going into the trilogy here, is the Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. Now, remember what the adventure in this one was called, right? Okay. This was the dragon. At what was it? Look at that. I gotta sit there and remember my own self. This one was called Dragon of Icefire's Peak. Okay. So now we move on, still using this map, okay, because this is a Sword Coast, and we go to Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. Now, this is also a starter set for 2 to 6 players. The neat thing is, and once again, it comes with the adventure book, okay? And yes, the adventure book will have artwork. Look at that. Very nice. I like it. Dragon's Rest. Okay, I'm not going to show a lot of that because, there was some monster artwork there. I don't want to give too much away like I did last time. I don't want to do it now. This box set also comes with the starter set rule book. Okay. Starter set rule book. Basically goes over the same thing. Playing the game, equipment, spells. A little bit, it's organized a little differently. All right. Really nice. Has full color again. But what I like is now this one, I forgot to bring them out. But anyway, you have, again, you have the pre-created characters. Here's the High Elf Wizard, the Lightfoot Halfling Rogue. Well, I'm off camera again. I keep going off camera, don't I? The Human Paladin, the Wood Elf Fighter, and the Hill Dwarf Cleric. So you notice this one's a little different. This one has a Paladin in it instead of the second fighter. So it kind of gives you that look, that feel that we were talking about when we were all talking about the different characters. Just really nice. It also comes with a set of dice, which I'm giving away. But I bring them out now. Now I can kind of go back around to the other side. So what I had said, I'm frozen. I move too fast sometimes. Just sometimes. Okay, so I had spoken or talked about this last week of how the three could be linked together. So, trust me, if I were to put these three together into a campaign, which you can, all right? These things are from first. You could probably run this campaign 1st through 10th, 1st through 12th level, probably, just by enhancing the creatures a little bit, adding some more creatures, just making them a little tougher. You can take the monsters that are in here, and if your characters are a little higher than they need to be, and you think there's a little bit too, add an extra hit point, extra hit die. So instead of a 2d8 creature, you make him a 3d8 creature. Now he has a little bit, max out their hit points. Don't do it randomly, max them out. Make it a little bit more, beef them up a little bit. Okay? Maybe give them an extra attack if they're at the 8th and 9th level the characters are. There's a lot of different things you can do just with this that doesn't require you to do a lot more. So that's really neat. I would start out in the original starter set with the Lost Mine of Fendelver. Okay? With this one here. I would start out with this one. That's what I would do. I would start out with the Lost Mine of Fendelver. Then, I don't know why I keep putting it away. Then I would go to the Dragon of Ice Peak, of Icespire Peak. All right? That'd be the second one that I would do. And then I would send them off the coast because in the adventure, in the third adventure, the Dragons of Stormwreck Isle, the island actually sits off the coast, it's further west of the Sword Coast, all right, which is where everything's taking place, which is this one here. That's the order I would do it because it's kind of like, obviously you can do them in whatever order you like. Start with either starter set and work your way back or forth, depending on how you want to do it. But it'd be a lot of fun to see somebody do that. And if you decide to do it, hey, send me a message. Let me know. If you have a Friday, come on over. And we'll jump on the show and you can tell us how it went and how you planned it out and how you kind of put it all together. Because, hey, the more game masters and dungeon masters that come out on the show and talk about what they do, the more ideas you give the players, the more avenues of thought, the more creativity there is within the collective minds. Get it? The collective? Okay. But so that way, it's not just me. I mean, I'm just one dungeon master out of many. I just have the opportunity and the privilege of being able to host the show and bring people on and talk about all the wonderful things and open up all these new toys. Because I'll tell you what, I love it. I love seeing all these new. I mean, look at this dragon. I still love it. And there's a new dragon dice tower too. I forgot to bring it. Like I said, I don't have enough room out here. And these are kind of big. I don't want to knock anything over, but there's a red dragon dice tower now. That looks just as beautiful as the amethyst one. They're gorgeous, Unfortunately, we sold out of the Reaper, but I'm sure we'll try and get it back. There's a lot of new dice towers. Listen, Christmas is coming up. It's October. Actually, October is almost halfway done. Okay, today's what? The 15th? 14th? Today's the 14th. So we're halfway done with October. November, December, Christmas. Wow. Okay, so come on by. If you got a birthday coming up, make sure you can get them a gift card. You can buy them dice. Oh my gosh. If it's a D&D, if it's anything connected with D&D, just come on in and check it all out. All right? So there's a lot going on, and I can't even bring everything out at one time when things arrive sometimes. It's just, wow, overwhelming. And here's the crazy part. Some things come in, and by the time the show comes around on Friday, they're gone. It happens. It's like that sometimes. I always told you, don't wait around thinking, oh, I'll come and get that one later. If you can, come and get it now. Now is better than later because it may not be around then. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about. The two starters in the Essentials kit. The three of them together are an amazing trilogy. I really believe that if you start playing in either starter set, it'll give you the hang of it. Then once you play like a chapter, because these things are all divided into chapters, you can literally just start over, create characters. Now that you kind of know the ins and the outs, okay, so a fighter's strong, constitution, okay. And then you go back through it, and it'll give you a whole different perspective. Or maybe it's like, oh, I don't want to be the fighter. I want to be the rogue. Oh, I don't want to be the cleric. I want to be the wizard. Hey, let's throw in the paladin. And here's the nice thing. When you get both starters, right, you got that paladin in the character in there now. So now you can have different types of different types of fighters. You got the paladin. You got the different rogues. I don't think the rogues are the same. Wizards with different spell lists. The clerics. It's a lot of fun that way. You can kind of mix and match the party now. Also, and I didn't bring them out. I brought them out last week. This starter set has the figurines in a full set. Okay, the 5 adventures are set up as pre-painted figurines. They look awesome. Now, if you want to come in and find your characters, there's pre-painted miniatures on the wall. There's like 50 or 60 of them, all kinds of different classes, races, with different types of weapons. Or you have the pre-prime ones that you can just paint yourself, or just use just like that. I mean, if I put this down on the table and say, you see a gargantuan red dragon, blue dragon, whatever I want to make him, because he's not quite painted yet, right? So I could use this figurine for just about every color I want. Black dragon, green dragon, gold dragon, red dragon, bronze, copper, whatever. And there he is, because he's big. He's exactly what a dragon should look like. All right. Anyway, so let's not forget. Oh, before I forget, November 5th, and it's coming quick. November 5th to the 6th, 33 hours of gaming. Do not forget. The Collective is having their Halloween party. Is it this coming weekend or next coming weekend? I believe it's next coming weekend. Check with them. I just didn't write it down, but I'm just kind of throwing out things as I remember them. But November 5th, I started to fill up, where we only have so many spots at the table for the Grand Melee that we're going to do. It's going to start that night, right after the auction. They got a couple things that are going on. And then we're going to go into that and probably play till, well, it's either all the creatures are dead or all the players are dead. One of the two. Whichever one comes first, I guess. Anyway, so it's been a wonderful time with you. Thank you for coming out on a Friday afternoon and spending a little bit of time with me. And as always, may the roll rise up to meet your feet, and may all your adventures be successful. So until next Friday, have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Come by the Collective and check out all the things they got. All right? It's been fun. Everybody be safe.